Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing.
I've taken an ICBL course at Moringa School, and after which I was still, I'm a lover of tech, so I still felt like delving into it more. Video editing is part of it. So from an advert, I got to learn about the apprenticeship program. I contemplated on it with my younger sister, and she was like, yeah, you can just try. So we just came, the administrative secretary, a very friendly person. So she just took me through, filled in some forms, and then she told me she will email me. And then I received the email, and I was invited to an apprenticeship program. One, I first had thought of the technical part of it, but then I realized it is not in me really, because after all, I love being involved with computer. So I felt like the video editing will do me that in a better way. I paid on a Friday. I was told on Monday, just come and we'll start the classes at 8. Yeah, and my supervisor came to the visitors lounge and picked me, and it was a friendly welcome. Yeah, the first week it was more of an introduction to the Mac, because I can say, like, since I started these computer things, I've not really been with the Mac. So when I first came, it was first learning about the Mac, how it operates, and then now getting into the Final Cut, the editing software. Yeah, and it was more of practice, more of learning how things move. Yeah. Week 2, now we got into the more of the business. Like, we got programs. Myself, I got a program called Amana ya Kiislamu, and we were editing the audio, the visuals. I've picked a lot. Let me first say, from the social perspective, my supervisor has been a good person. So I've learned a lot about patience, being obedient. Yeah. Not to talk of the technical part of it, because he has been working with me every other step. Yeah, showing me that which you feel like an obstacle it's a stepping stone to learning more. So a lot of thanks to him, and also the KU TV fraternity. The good machines, the favorable environment. It's a very cool environment for both working and learning, and you have all the time for yourself. Whether you're a fast learner or a slow learner, you cannot complain about being taken on a pace that you can't keep up with. So I've really enjoyed that, and more of it, the social cohesion within the colleagues and everybody. Like, nobody could have noticed that I'm under the apprenticeship program, because we are treated all with the same. Yeah. I was not used to not having lunch, so I had to keep up with that, but I can't complain really. So that was quite of a challenge, but I still, yeah, it will be a lie to say that I'm the one who really took that step. But for my supervisor, he really did a lot by creating a very conducive environment for us and really showing us that it's not that hard. With the right attitude, the desire, and a better approach of things, you can get it fast and get it right. From long time ago, I've just been loving the practical part of things. So I'd say the practical part has really equipped me with a lot. Yeah, because you face a certain challenge and then you ask, and then you get to know about it. What you would come to find or to fetch, you have it in you, and nobody's gonna take that from you. So at some point it's a success, but it's still sad in some way. Yeah, it all matters with from what angle are you looking at it. It's still going to be more of being a video editor, getting to be a better video editor, yeah, practicing more, yeah, and then of course finding a job and something that you can really practice it on in some way, because with the era that we are in, creating a job for yourself is much easier because there are even more content creators. Yeah, so jobs, they might not be really on your doorstep, but they are a lot at least. I wouldn't mind that, but maybe the graphics, yeah. What I will call people to do this course first, it's the kind of the practical part of it. Yeah, because if I may rate my time here, 90% of it was practical. So you get to understand the thing from its depths to its narrow. To the people at home, feel it like you're making the best decision. There are a lot of short courses out there. I know there are driving courses, computer courses, but this is one course that stands out as a short course because it's not really, okay, there are a few places to offer short courses, but from KUTV you'll get the best of the best. And this is a very good choice, especially for when you're from Form 4, because it's still a source of income and you'll still gain much of knowledge that you need still not get. Never too late. Yeah, that can be just my inspiration for today.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani Na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea, kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
Kenyatta University's Chancellor Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura will hold a public lecture at the university's amphitheater on Friday, 4th October 2024 at 10 a.m. Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura has served as a civil servant and a diplomat in the Kenyan government, holding various distinguished positions like the Kenyan ambassador to EU, Belgium and Luxembourg, and a permanent representative to the United Nations in New York. He boasts of the Moran of the Burning Spear and Elder of the Golden Heart. The public lecture themed Strengthening the Future of Higher Education Through Strategic Reforms and Stakeholder Engagement will be live on KU TV and all Kenyatta University's social media platforms.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this auspicious event on the 4th day of October 2024. We are coming to you live from Kenyatta University's amphitheater on this day, where Kenyatta University's Chancellor Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura is expected this morning to issue a public lecture. Well, remember, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura serves as the 6th Chancellor of Kenyatta University after he was appointed earlier this year by President William Ruto and later installed officially as the university's Chancellor during the 55th graduation right here at Kenyatta University. Well, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who is the chief guest this morning, we will be expecting him in just a few minutes into the amphitheater for the public lecture, boasts of a great track record in the field of education. Well, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura has spearheaded great reforms in the education sector. Just to mention a few, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura is among the key people that facilitated the increasing the number of public universities in the country from 6 to 22. Additionally, on top of this, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura also was among the key people that spearheaded the increased enrollment of secondary school students. He came up with the secondary day policy in the country. Well, it is also worth mentioning this morning that Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who is our chief guest this morning, has served in almost across all the government regimes that have seen the light of day in the country. Talk about the late President Moi's government. Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura served during Moi's government. He has also served in the late former President Mwai Kibaki's government. He also served under President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, and he is also serving right now under President William Ruto's government as Kenyatta University's 6th Vice Chancellor. Well, this public lecture themed Strengthening Higher Education Through Strategic Reforms and Stakeholder Engagement. We will be joining in just a few to know what it is that is going to be happening, and the chief guest, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, is the one who will be issuing this public lecture. Well, it is also worth noting that Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura boasts of an auspicious track record. Apart from serving as a civil servant, he has also served as a diplomat in the Kenyan government. He has served as an ambassador to EU, an ambassador to Belgium, an ambassador to Luxembourg, and also as the United Nations permanent representative of Kenya in the New York. Well, remember, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura serves as the 6th Chancellor of Kenyatta University after taking over from the former Chancellor, that is Dr. Benson Wairegi, right here at Kenyatta University. Earnest expectations runs all across the university as people are all ears, ready to know what it is that Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who is the 6th Chancellor of Kenyatta University, will be putting across this morning in this auspicious event. And just right about now, about to join us on set, we will be getting him on set in just a few minutes, is Professor Richard Oduor, who is currently the registrar the Registrar Research, Innovations and Outreach, and he also serves as the chair of the public lecture series. He will be joining us in just a few minutes right here on set. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us for this auspicious event, this is Kenyatta University's public lecture, courtesy of the university's Chancellor Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who will be issuing this public lecture from Kenyatta University's amphitheater. And also it is worth noting that this public lecture is Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura's first ever public lecture as the university's chancellor, and it is not the first public lecture ever to be held at Kenyatta University. It is, or let's say the second, because the first one was held by Uganda's former president, Uganda's current president, beg your pardon, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, right here at the university. And just as we have mentioned, the chief guest boasts of an auspicious record in the world in the fields of education, spearheading great reforms, that is including in the secondary school sector. That is, he was among the key people that facilitated the enrollment into the day secondary school policy. Also on top of that, he increased the number. He was among the key people that facilitated the increasing number of public universities from 6 to 22. And now joining us on set, as I had mentioned earlier, is Professor Richard Oduor, who is the chair of the Public Lecture Series Committee here at Kenyatta University, and he also serves as the Registrar Research and Innovation here at Kenyatta University. Welcome, Professor, this morning, and maybe we can just start by you telling us who are you and what position do you hold in Kenyatta University? Then we can proceed from that. Welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Richard Oduor. I am an associate professor of molecular and cell biology, hosted in the Department of Biochemistry, Microbiology and Biotechnology. I serve this university as the Registrar Research, Innovation and Outreach, and that is the office and the division where the organization of public lecture actually happens, and I'm the chair of the Public Lecture Series Committee.
All right, many thanks, Professor, for that. Well, we understand this public lecture by the university's chancellor is themed Strengthening Higher Education Through Strategic Reforms and Stakeholder Engagement. Let's break it down bit by bit. Let's start by what is it that we expect the chancellor is going to mention, or what it is that you think he might mention about now strengthening the sector of higher education, specifically here at Kenyatta University.
Well, we are lucky to have Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who is our Chancellor, to be the one delivering this particular first inaugural series of public lectures. One thing that is very important for us to appreciate is that as a Chancellor, he's the titular, actually, head of this institution. And with his vast experience that is spanning from diplomacy, where we see collaborations in there, his extensive expertise even as a PS and also as a public head of public service. Those are positions that people who hold them have a lot of experience. And now at that particular point, he had the opportunity to look at the entire country and entire country through the different ministries. So Ministry of Education, Defense, all those were under him, and he was at a position to look at that. That is the person that we require with that expertise to now speak to the strengthening of the future of higher education through strategic reforms and stakeholder engagement. We are at a point where we feel that the future of higher education needs to be discussed very actively, and particularly what are the tenets, the things that we need to actually speak to so that our universities can reclaim their intended purpose, mandate of training, research and community outreach.
All right, great insights, Professor. And also, let's now come to the second bit of it. We said strengthening higher education through strategic reforms. Maybe just a snippet, what are some of the reforms that we expect maybe the Chancellor is going to mention? And well, we understand these are not just ordinary reforms, but they are strategic reforms. Kindly bring us a pace and candid with what are some of the strategic reforms that maybe we expect the Chancellor is going to touch on?
Well, I don't want to pretend to be actually to speak for him, but what I can say from my side of the story is that we are looking at a decent conversation that is speaking to the future of higher education. And we have noticed that there are a lot of reforms that are currently ongoing. I suspect that he might pronounce himself to some of those particular, reforms that we are seeing. CBC is here right now. There is even the committee of 29 members to deal with the student, funding model. The discussion even yesterday, the court case that the court that the declaration that it's been put on hold as all these things are happening, and we are in that space. So at that particular point, and as a chancellor, remember, he is the head also to look at this university very well. He needs, therefore, I suspect he might figure out how to pronounce himself strategically in the face of the emerging trends that we are currently seeing, and probably look at what are the more other stakeholders that are critical that we as a university need to still start looking into, because he has expertise both locally and internationally. And based on that experience, we might find him pronouncing himself in very interesting areas, including even the thinking that should be infused into the university thinking framework, and that would be very important for us as a university to really listen to him. I'm really looking forward to listening to him and actually picking very key issues that he's going to really throw our direction.
And also, just before we also let you go, please talk to us about one key element also in the theme is about stakeholder engagement. So what are some of who are some of the stakeholders that you think will be critical in this public lecture that is just about to be issued by Kenyatta University's Chancellor, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura?
There are a number of stakeholders within the framework of education. When you look at the stakeholders that we have, and we have a number of them, one, you look at the mandate of the university. The first mandate is about education. So the first stakeholder that comes into mind is Commission for University Education, because all the programs that we have with this university must be vetted and approved by CUE, Commission for University Education, and that institution is part of the audience here today. You also look at about the thinking and advising the government in matters science, technology, and innovation. That stakeholder is NACOSTI, that is National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation. The CEO of that commission is actually Professor Walter Oyawa, who has confirmed his coming to today's event, which means, therefore, that's a key stakeholder to us. We are looking at stakeholders like the NRF, National Research Fund. They are the people, that's the organization that funds research in this country, and therefore that's a key stakeholder here. We are looking at the CUPS. That's where the placement happens, because they are key stakeholders. They're the people who feed us with the students. We are looking at HELP, because once our students are here, who is this person who is supporting them, or the organization that? So HELP is a key stakeholder, and they are invited. We are also looking at Kenya. Kenya is now that national agency for innovation and all that stuff, and headed by Dr. Omanzo. The most important thing is that we also appreciate that our students and staff are very innovative, and the ideas that they have can be crystallized into products that can be commercialized. Again, that organization was invited and will be here, either virtually or physically. We are looking at other universities have also been invited, because those are similar people who are playing within the same field. From where I sit, I think we, as internally, we have our staff, both teaching and non-teaching, and also students, and our parents, the parents of those students, because they are the people. These students don't fund themselves. The parents are part of it. And from where we sit right now, with the emerging trends around the funding and the university financial status and all this, we need to start thinking very actively on how do we then, have strategies? How do we engage with the stakeholders? How do we make internal strategic reforms that will make us top in terms of attracting even the students? The few that we have, our students, and there are many in this regard, we need to talk to realize as a university that those are our clients actually. And we need to start seeing students differently, look at them with a lot of liking, advise them very actively, and also staff members, because they are the people who are facilitating all this to happen, both teaching and non-teaching. So together we must have a conversation as a university community so that we can build this university to what it really should be.
Great, Professor. And almost to the end is that you serve as the chairperson of the public lecture series here at Kenyatta University. Please tell us, how often should we expect public lectures coming from the university? And also, as you break it down for us, please help us understand, is the public lecture only limited to a university's chancellor, or also someone else like the deputy vice chancellor can also do public lectures in any university? And then now we also come to the end of it.
I'm very privileged to serve as the chair of the public lecture series committee, and I have a good team behind me, and soon we are also going to even have an expanded committee that will be looking at even the exhibitions in the university. Yes, this is the first public lecture in the calendar of this year 2024-2025, and we couldn't have had the best speaker than the chancellor himself. Thereafter, it will be open. We are expected to have quarterly public lectures, and the trick here is in the person who is the speaker, and that needs to be beyond. It needs to be this person with unique ideas and experience that can infuse a few things to us as a Kenyatta University community. And remember, this is public lecture, so any other person out there can still join or come and sit in this auditorium and just listen to the wisdom that he is going to, that Ambassador is going to ooze shortly. And also to understand that we expect the entire university, through our school deans, executive deans, and even the school board coordinators of research, innovation and outreach, to come forth and suggest names of the eminent persons who would need to come. We are thinking big. If I have access to the American president, I will call him to come and give a public lecture here. If we can get our hands into Elon Musk, I will get them to come here, because that is the direction we want to go. We want to think beyond the scope of this university and just create the real public lecture series that we really want to see.
Right, great. And lastly, Professor, is someone seated out there would want to understand, what is the importance of a public lecture to any university, not just Kenyatta University, but also generally, what is the importance of holding public lectures in universities?
A public lecture is very interesting. The word public means it is open to anybody else. Only that within the university universities are known to be the epitome of education and knowledge. So the venue for it being in the university is spot on, and the venue that it is here at Kenyatta University is even better for us. But more importantly, this is an open platform where you engage freely with people with the right knowledge in topical areas. Right now, what we have picked for our chancellor is the future of higher education. Next time, it could be something else in advancing probably technologies in the face of AI, probably. The next time, it could be leadership and culturing our whatever, and that is the thinking now. And remember, this university is a comprehensive university that has all the disciplines. So any discipline you're thinking of is here. And therefore, we are spoiled for choice. All I'm keen on is, and I'm calling upon the Kenyatta University community and even the public out there, the topical issues that interest them, they can share with us. And if they also have a topical personality that they feel we should reach out to speak to a specific thematic area, we will be so glad as a committee to reach out to that particular person to come and give a public lecture to us. It is very momentous, and I can't wait to listen to the Chancellor giving his remarks and, of course, the lecture.
Great insights, but just before we let you go, as you've mentioned, people can reach out to your committee in airing their thematic areas that they feel will be appropriate for the upcoming lectures. Now that you've mentioned, they will be coming on a quarterly basis. So someone has heard that and they want to know, how can they reach Professor's committee in planning or sharing the thematic areas for the upcoming public lectures?
Well, they can walk into my office. It is on the 4th floor in the Central Administration Office, room 411. The secretary is in there and myself. My number is also available for any person who wants to reach me. It is 0702-931-951, because I'm a public servant and therefore I need to serve my people. So let them walk in, call me, drop an email, oduor@richard@ku.ac.ke. Then that gets directly to myself, and I will pick it and respond very fast so that we get things done in this university.
All right, many thanks, Professor, for joining us. We wish you a fruitful engagement in this public lecture, and maybe we can even have you more and more talk about the public lectures that are upcoming. Thank you so much, Professor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor Richard Odwor, who is the Registrar, Research, Innovation and Outreach here at Kenyatta University. And also, additionally, he is also the chairperson of the public lecture series here at Kenyatta University. Just to do a recap of what he has talked about, and if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, this is the auspicious Kenyatta University's Chancellor's Public Lecture coming to you live from KU's amphitheater. Well, just on set was Professor Richard Odwor. As I had mentioned earlier, he is the chairperson of the public lecture series here at Kenyatta University, and also he serves as the Registrar, Research, Innovation and Outreach here at the university. Well, some of the key critical questions that we wanted to know before this public lecture could kickstart is number one, Professor Richard has said that anyone else is allowed to issue a public lecture across the universities, and you've actually had him mention that even they can reach out to the US president and also reach out to Elon Musk to issue public lectures if that is possible. Well, that answers the question that maybe we had gotten from our social media platforms from some of you that wanted to ask and know whether any other person can issue public lectures. Well, Professor Richard Odwor has put it clear that anyone else can issue a public lecture, but he has said this is subject to their outstanding performance. And also, on top of that, Professor Richard Odwor has also mentioned that the importance of a public lecture is normally to align universities with the current trends in the society. And also, what he has mentioned is that currently, in today's public lecture, some of the things that we expect Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura is going to talk about is the current university funding model that we understand was halted yesterday. Its implementation was halted yesterday by the courts. Also, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura has also enabled us to understand this morning that on top of that also is that this morning we are coming to you live from the amphitheater. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the event is just right about to start in a few. Right about now, we will be getting that procession that will be headed to the amphitheater. And remember, just as we had mentioned earlier, this public lecture is expected to be issued by Kenyatta University's Chancellor, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who serves as the 6th Chancellor of Kenyatta University after he was appointed earlier this year by President William Ruto and later installed as the university is officially installed as a university's chancellor during the 55th graduation ceremony here at Kenyatta University. And also, as we had mentioned earlier, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura took over as the university's 6th chancellor from the former chancellor, that is Dr. Benson Wairegi. Well, remember also, if you're joining us, this is a live event coming to you live on Kenyatta University television, or even across our social media handles, Instagram and LinkedIn at Kenyatta University, Facebook and X at Kenyatta Uni. This auspicious event is the public lecture being issued by Kenyatta University's 6th Chancellor, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura. Well, also to mention, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura has spearheaded great reforms in the education sector, including championing for increasing the number of public universities in the country from 6 to 22. Also, additionally, from that, Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura has also sat in key committees in the country that also brought about or increased the enrollment of secondary school students by bringing in the day secondary school policy in the country. Well, as also we had mentioned earlier, the chief guest this morning that we expect, that is Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, once again has served across almost all the government regimes mentioned, former president or late President Moi's government. Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura served in the late former President Moi Kibaki's Daniel Moi's government, and also he has also served in former President the late Mwai Kibaki's government. He has also served under President Uhuru's government, and also right now he serves under President William Ruto's government as Kenyatta University's 6th Chancellor. Well, remember, he was officially installed as a university's Chancellor during the 55th graduation ceremony here at Kenyatta University. And well, just previously a few minutes ago on set, we had Professor Richard Oduor, who serves as the chairperson of the Public Lectures Committee here at Kenyatta University, and also he serves as the Registrar Research Innovation and Outreach. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the procession that is just coming to you live on our screens is the Chancellor Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura heading to the amphitheater, being escorted by the Vice Chancellor Professor Washeke Wanjohi, heading now to the amphitheater with a raft of guests. And also just that is also the DVC Professor Catherine Dorua Langat, also headed to the amphitheater. That is the Chancellor's procession heading to the amphitheater right about now. So ladies and gentlemen, that is to tell you the Chancellor is already in the house. We have seen him being escorted by the Vice Chancellor Professor Washeke Wanjohi along the respective Deputy Vice Chancellors in the various departments here at Kenyatta University. So right about now, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few minutes, we will be headed back. We will be handing you into the amphitheater where this live occurrence is going to be taking place. And if you're just joining us right about now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an auspicious event coming to you live from Kenyatta University's amphitheater, where we are expected to be hearing from the Chancellor, that is Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura, who is expected to be issuing a public lecture this morning. And as we had mentioned earlier, this broadcast is coming to you live on KU TV and also across Kenyatta University's social media platforms, KU TV and also YouTube. We are streaming at KU TV News Kenya. Well, remember, once again, this broadcast is coming to you live on KU TV and also our social media platforms, Facebook and X at Kenyatta Uni, Instagram and LinkedIn at Kenyatta University. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, Kenyatta University offers you a holistic approach in matters of programming. So ladies and gentlemen, as I had mentioned earlier, Kenyatta University Television offers you a holistic approach in its programming. Mention about matters education, we have a program by the name Elimu Live that only airs at KU TV. Mention about matters agriculture, we have programs like Boresha Kilimo that also air at Kenyatta University. When it comes to legal matters, we have a program by the name Law Matters that airs only on KU TV every Tuesday from 7:30 to 8 in the PM. And also in matters entertainment, KU TV got you, because every Friday we have a program that brings you a pace and candid with the latest banter in the field of entertainment and music. It brings you about the latest juice, the latest trends in the matters of music and entertainment. And also additionally, KU TV also has a 1-month intensive program that nurtures young journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, right about now, we want to hand you over live into the amphitheater as the public lecture by Ambassador Dr. Francis Muthaura starts us off. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hand you over now to the amphitheater.
Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
KU Anthem.
Renowned fountain of knowledge, well of learning experience, a bubbling spring of wisdom, a promise of better tomorrow. Kenyatta, oh Kenyatta, our nation's star. Kenyatta, our nation's pride, university of our time. Kenyatta, oh Kenyatta, our nation's star. Kenyatta, our nation's nation's pride, University of our time.